What's up, Nerdyverse? I'm Daddy Louie, and in this video, we are taking a look at a game called Wizard Kittens. So stick around. Before we get started, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure that you subscribe for more content and hit that bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. Wizard Kittens is a recently successful Kickstarter. It actually had over 4,000 backers, and now it is time for this game to finally be released on retail. It is for 2 to 4 players, ages 7 and up, and takes around 15 to 30 minutes to play. It is published by Magpie Games. The premise behind the game is that you are a kitten in a wizard school and you have accidentally unleashed a bunch of curses, and you and your kitten friends have to get all of the curses back in the book that you released them from, or you will be caught by the librarian, and then in which case the kitten with the cleanest paws is the winner. So the object of the game is to be to get all of the curses, there'll be 6 in total, all of the curses back in the book. That kind of triggers the end game, and then you count up points. Whoever has the most points wins. However, there is also kind of an in-game timer, and that timer will trigger once you are caught by the librarian, in which case you still count up all of your points, but it's kind of the cat with the fewest points that will end up winning that, because they did the least amount of work, so the librarian didn't catch them doing anything they weren't supposed to. So it's kind of, you're kind of racing against the clock to try and get as many points as you can. However, there's also a mechanic built into it where if you are not doing very well on points, you can kind of try and stretch the game out, make it so that the curses aren't filled or aren't captured in time, so that you are the cat with the cleanest paws. So it's kind of two different styles of play, both of which have the opportunity of winning, which is kind of neat. But is it good? Well, if you join me on the table, we'll look at it and find out. All right, so here we have all of the components that come inside the game. This is the standard game. There was a Kickstarter version of the game as well that had a few extra kittens and things like that. There's also an expansion. Unfortunately, I don't have that to show you guys today. We're just looking at the base game. So, like I said, it's 2 to 4 players. Each player is going to select one of these 4 kittens. So you have Bebe, you have Isa, Grumpkin, and Muffin. Each one of them also has a coordinating color token. You use that to keep track of which spell you used last turn, because you can't use the same spell 2 consecutive turns in a row. Also, we have a small deck of cards over here. This is the caught card. This is what will trigger one of the triggers for the end game. So we're going to be using this. In a 2-player game, you won't use any of these cards. However, in a 3 to 4 player game, you will use at least 1 Chaos Cat. The rest can be set aside for variation. There's also Chaos Mode and New Rules. These cards are used. Again, you can use them if you want to. This is more advanced play and creating variation in your play, which is definitely appreciated because it gives nice replayability. However, we're not really going to look at those very much during this review. So once you've decided which character you're going to be, you will set up the rest of your board, and you're going to create a deck of 6 curses. Now, there are easy, medium, and difficult curses to complete. You're going to have 2 of each, making a deck of 6. And then you will lay 1 curse out for each of the first 2 chapters, flipping over the 3rd chapter, keeping it closed until later on in the game. In a 2-player game, you won't use the 3rd chapter at all. Then each player will also get an extra credit card. These are kind of like a bonus mission that will give you extra points at the end of the game. And these are hidden from your opponent, so no one knows what it is that you're trying to achieve. Like I said, they are secret. And each player will get a coordinating set of chapter cards based on their color. So Muffin here, he's going to get, looks like he's going to get pink. So like I said, in a 3 to 4 player game, you'll use all 3 of these, with the third chapter being closed until later in the game. In a 2-player game, you won't use the third chapter at all. And finally, we have our resource cards. These are the cards that we're going to be used to capture the curses, put the curses away. So you're going to shuffle these up. You're going to deal 1 to each player in each chapter that they have open. So Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 will each get 1 of these flipped up. And then the rest of the deck is kept face down to be used throughout the game. So let me set up for a quick 2-player game, and I'll show you how it plays. One more thing I forgot to forget that I'd like to go over really quickly is that these character cards are actually double-sided. And like I said, there's a lot of different variations within the rules to kind of mix up play. And one of them is advanced rules, in which normally in a normal game, all of the spells that each cat can do are the same. But in advanced mode, you flip it over, and each cat has 1 spell that is unique to them. And it actually says advanced down here to let you know which side is which. So I'm not going to go over it too much more than that. I just wanted to make sure to note that there is some variety also in the characters that you choose when you are playing in some of the different game modes, which is kind of cool. All right, so here we have set up for a 2-player game. Now I've turned some of the cards sideways. These cards here are larger than normal playing cards. So I just wanted to turn it this way so that you could kind of see everything in one shot. So we're set up for a 2-player game, so we're only using chapters 1 and 2. And I've dealt out a card to each chapter for each character that's playing. They also have their extra credit cards, which, like I said, they can score at the end of the game, assuming all of the curses. You only score the extra credit cards if you recover all 6 of the curses. If you get caught, then the extra credit cards don't count at all. So just keep that in mind. So each player will start their turn by taking a card from the top of the draw deck and placing it wherever they want in either Chapter 1 or Chapter 2. And they're trying to fill up their chapters in their spell circles to match the symbols that are on the curses. So right here in Chapter 1, which is this curse here, it has an artifact, a spell, and a scroll. So he's got, an artifact, a potion, and a scroll. So I've already got an artifact here, and I just drew a potion, which I actually need. So I'm going to go ahead and place it there. Then I can use, if I want, one of my spells, and keeping in mind that whatever spell I choose, I can't use it again next turn. So I think I'm going to use the... He doesn't have a scroll over here for me to steal. Otherwise, that would be pretty beneficial. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw an additional card. So I'm going to place that there, and I'm going to draw an additional card. Unfortunately, it is another potion. It's not the scroll that I was hoping for, but I'm going to go ahead and place it here because I can, like I said, swap a card from my location to his location next turn if he happens to get one that I want. So I'm done with my turn. There's nothing else that I can do because I can't complete a curse. So it would go over to my opponent's turn. He would do the same thing by drawing the top card. He did get a scroll, which is great for him. He's going to want to put it here, although he knows he's going to lose it next turn. So what can he do? There might be something he can do on here to stop that from happening. He could discard 2 of his cards so that this guy doesn't get to complete that. He could draw an additional card hoping that he gets a artifact. I think that's what he's going to do. Or, you know what? He could switch to steal that artifact from him. But he's just going to go ahead and draw an additional card hoping that he gets an artifact. He does not. He gets a potion. And he's going to place that here. And then he would pass to the next player. So the next player would go. He's going to flip over a card. He got a familiar, which is good for him. He's going to place it there. He's then going to play switch, one of his spells here, which says swap the location of any 2 cards. So he's going to swap the location of his potion here for this scroll over here. And that gives him the things that he needs to complete this curse here. So at the end of his turn, he would take all of these, discard them, and he would get this curse, which is worth 5 victory points at the end of the game. Now, one thing to note is, let's say, for example, he had an additional item in his chapter over here. So let's say it looked something like this. He would still buy it with all of the cards. He would discard the cards that he needs to complete the curse. And then he would take this last card and he would tuck it underneath for endgame point counting. So at the end of the game, when he counts this 5 points, he's going to also minus a point for each extra card that he had in the chapter when he completed the curse. So you want to try and get as close to the match as possible without having any extra cards, because for every extra card you have, you're going to lose a point. And that's the way that the game works. You're going to go back and forth using these spells, collecting cards to complete curses, and you want to try and have all 6 curses, because like I said, you're going to make a deck of 6 curses. You're going to try and complete all 6 curses before the end game is triggered. And the end game is triggered when, like I said, you draw that stop card, and he'll be somewhere in the last 10 cards of the deck. So when you're making this deck up at the beginning of the game, you deal out 10 cards and you shuffle him into those last 10, and then you put the rest of the deck on top. And you go through this cycle of passing back and forth. So as you can see, the basic version of the game is quite simple and easy. The variation and the difficulty will come once you've played this version a couple of times. You'll get into chaos mode. You'll get into adding the, let's see, where are they here? You'll get into adding these new rules that completely change out different parts of the game. You can go into advanced mode, where now you've got an additional spell or a different spell on each one of the cats, and so on and so forth. I also really quickly want to just talk about the art, because it's quite cute and quite like my kids absolutely love it. There's just some really, really nice art on these cards. I like the components a lot. These cards being as big as they are really adds some extra, I don't know, just a little something extra. And that's everything that you need to know in order to play Wizard Kittens. My final thoughts of the game is it's really cute. I really like the art. This is definitely a gateway game. It's very easily played with children or with family and friends that are not big gamers. But it still adds enough complexity and depth in the strategy of the game for even your most seasoned gamers to enjoy. And the art is fun. It's light. It's very colorful. All of the colors really come out. The components are really nice, well put together. Even the packaging, which I didn't show you, has slots for everything, which really is a big plus. Like I said, there is an expansion. Unfortunately, I didn't get that with this copy, but it's something that I definitely want to check out. They even have little plush dolls of some of the cats, at least one of the cats that I saw on their website. I'll leave links to all of that in the description below, but it's definitely worth checking out. It is going to be available on retail on August the 13th. So if you were not part of the original Kickstarter, make sure that you go and check this game out. What are you guys most excited about when it comes to Wizard Kittens? Let us know down in the comment section below. I enjoy reading all of those and interacting with you guys. Make sure that you check us out everywhere on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Circle of Nerds. Don't forget that we have a podcast that comes out on Wednesdays called The Cosmic Disaster Show. You can find that right here on YouTube or anywhere that you enjoy listening to podcasts. And for an extra bit of love and affection to us here at the Circle of Nerds, please consider checking us out over on Patreon at patreon.com/circleofnerds. Anyway, guys, that's all from me. I will see you in the next video.